no, I don't think the blitzscaling, grow fast thing is gone. I think to your point, I think it's cyclical. I think it would be very sad if it's gone, and I think and I think it'll be the end of modern human history, right? I mean, a lot of the stuff has happened this way. You throw the ship out the sea and hope to find a whale, right? And good luck. And if I don't think there's a world where there's human progress without like taking outsized risk in search for outsized returns. I think the world will be up. We'll go back to the Middle Age. So I don't think that's going away. I do think that we're in a transition right now. That's one point, just to answer that. I think specifically to not my personality, I guess my personality included, but extending beyond me. I do think that there are two types of entrepreneurs that can build massive companies. I think it's almost orthogonal to the type of company you're trying to build. But I think there's a type of entrepreneur that it's the image I have in my head is that they're very good at kicking the ball forward. Like if you're playing football, if you're playing soccer, you're very fast. You kick the ball, you start running, just overrun everyone else. Hope to find the ball on the other side of the court and keep playing with it. And I mean that as a metaphor for spending ahead of growth, to drive growth, to take market share, to dominate and that type of stuff. And it's kind of more high risk and more high reward. And maybe Uber is that image of this company, just taking over the world and spending lots of money. The business is good, right? The unit economics are good. It's just like how you spend to grow. And I think there's various amazing companies that have been built that way. But I think there's another way of building companies, again, irrespective of what type of company, where maybe, again, if it's still soccer, you're just passing the ball more. You're just touching back and forth and going back. And it's more like, okay, let me open one card at a time. Let me figure out if I can survive if things go wrong. Let me make sure that I don't die. And you can build massive things that way as well, irrespective of that. What I do think is that, if you are of the second type, more of a kind of cockroach mentality, right? Which is like, I just don't want to die. And I want to keep growing and growing and build something big, but I need to not die. Then I think these times are much better for you, for your temperament. And I think if you're the type of guy who likes to throw the ball ahead and and overwhelm the market with growth and so forth, which again can work really well, this market is not so good for you. I'm more of the cockroach temperament, and so I feel great in this market, irrespective of what I'm building. Right? It's just like, when people are like, we have to manage the business tightly and really put a close eye on cost and make sure that the economics work. And I just personally couldn't do it any other way, because the alternative generates an enormous amount of anxiety for me. It doesn't matter what I'm trying to build. And so anyway, I think there's a temperamental thing where, I think it's better for people who are more cautious in how you spend money and so forth, which is somewhat independent to what you were saying as well, which is like, well, there are some businesses where you don't know how they're going to make a profit. Hopefully they should have some positive unit economics, or otherwise you'll never make a profit. But, you're willing to spend and lose money for a long, long time to build something massive. And it's very dependent on venture money and very dependent on acquisition strategies to be successful. There's another type of business where you control your destiny, because you're making money from day one, and you have certainly really good, very high margin unit economics and just generally a profitable business, which you can reinvest or cash out or so forth. Those are two different things. And so to your comment on our conversation, how I'm thinking about it, I think what happened to me is that my brain kind of split. And so I'm either thinking, what is the craziest, most amazing thing that can be built? And I think it's more, I'm doing more of that as an angel investor. And then there's like this type of stuff that I'm more likely to build these days. I can see a path to, it makes money. It's kind of more straightforward how it makes money. And there's different ways to building those companies. But yeah.